Hey, what's up guys? Steve from Out Into the Wilds here, also from Smithers Custom Baits. What I'm going to show you here is how I clean my airbrush out at the end of the night after painting. And if you watched my previous video, I had just painted a pumpkin seed pattern, which is right here. Getting ready to clear coat that next, which will be the next video. But I'm all done painting for the night, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I break down my airbrush and clean it out. Now my airbrush is a Iwata Eclipse HPCS, standard Iwata airbrush. It's a very good brush, especially for starting out. I highly recommend this to anybody that's wanting to get into airbrushing. I would skip right over buying the cheap ones. Myself, I bought a Neo CN, I believe it was, which is made for Iwata. It's made across seas, I believe, in China or something. It's decent. It's put together decently. It cost me $85, I believe. I got it at Hobby Lobby, so I used the 40% off coupon. It cost me like $50. And I started to learn on that, and it went downhill very fastly. That airbrush did not last that long at all. Maybe 2 to 3 months, and then I ended up investing in this, which you can find these online too, eBay, Amazon, and then of course you can go to Iwata's store itself and order it. But anyway, let me get to cleaning. What you're gonna need is water. This is, it says airbrush cleaner, but this is water. I keep a lot of this is empty because I've been using it all night. That's also water. So you're going to need water. You're going to need actual airbrush cleaner. I have this by Createx. I also have some by Medea, Iwata, Medea Comart, sorry, which I believe is Iwata anyway. But this is airbrush cleaner, different kind. I've yet to use this. This is brand new. I just ordered that as my backup to when I run out of this. So I'm sure there's not that big of a difference, if any. So water, actual airbrush cleaner. You need a bunch of Q-tips. Then these pipe cleaners. I got this off from Amazon, I think. Amazon and or eBay. You can get them. I bought them for $3.99. I don't know, something like that. Not very much. And these are very good to have. You need these for sure. I started out without them, and I used regular pipe cleaners. Yeah, regular pipe cleaners. These things, no bueno. The fibers come off, get stuck all in your airbrush. Not good. So definitely invest in these. There's 5 different sizes. I use the bottom 2. So to get started, I actually still have paint in there. I'm going to go ahead and turn my PSI all the way up. I got it at about 45. Spray out the paint, excess paint, take a Q-tip, get in there, you know, just get all the paint out that you can first. Then I'll take some water, spray in some water in there. Take a Q-tip, rub it around, blah blah blah. Clean your cup. Spray that water out. I always keep napkins. Go in there. Finger, wipe it out. Alright, so spray in some more water. And what you're going to want to do this time is you're going to want to put your finger over the nozzle and press down the trigger and pull back like as if you were painting. And what that's going to do is that's going to create a backsplash. It's going to go to spray out, but obviously you have it blocked, so it's going to spray it backwards, and that's going to clean out the majority of the paint inside of your nozzle here. It's going to bubble up and stuff. Let it rest for a second. Do that a few times. Take a Q-tip, run it around in there, spray all that out. All that does is, that's just to get the majority of the paint out. what you're going to want to do now is you're going to want to start breaking it down. Also, I forgot to mention what else you're going to need is the wrench. It came with whatever airbrush that you have. Like I said, I started out with a Neo. That came with its own wrench. It actually comes with two. One for the outer nose needle, whatever I'm trying to say, and then one for the inner one. So what I do is I take off my nozzle protection. I don't know the exact names for all this stuff, guys, so bear with me. I take off that. It's actually two pieces, so I'm going to go ahead and separate those as well. So there's those two. Now what you don't want to do now is drop this. Your needle is fully exposed, the barrel is exposed, the needle tip, barrel, whatever you want to call it, is exposed. If you drop this, you're going to bend that and you're going to have to go buy a new one, possibly a new barrel, which is easily 20-30 bucks. Needles, same, probably 20-30 bucks. So now I'm going to take the wrench, take off the outer part carefully so you don't hit your needle and bend it up. So that's broke down now. Airbrushes are different. On mine, the barrel comes off next, so that's good. Then I take off the back of the gun. And I loosen up the needle chuck. This is what holds the needle in place. I loosen that up, and now your needle can slide freely. What you don't want to do here is you don't want to pull your needle out the back, because what that's going to do is it's going to take any paint that's still in the cup, any paint that's on the needle, any paint that's in the bottom of the gun here, that's going to pull the paint back. You don't want to pull the paint back into the back of the gun. Obviously, it's going to make it harder for it to clean out. So you're going to want to push your needle forward, then nicely, while turning it, pull it out. That's that. So now your gun's broke down. Mine's broke down. I mean, you can still pull out your trigger and stuff like that, but I don't need to do a deep cleaning, so I'm not doing that. What I do next is I take a cap and I fill that up with airbrush cleaning solution, not water, the actual airbrush cleaning solution itself. I put my barrel, my needle tip right in there so that I can start soaking. And what I do is I get a clean Q-tip, dip it in the clean solution, and I clean my needle with the Q-tip. Just going back and forth, scrubbing lightly. Of course, you can use your fingers here as well. My fingers are pretty dirty, and I can still use them. I usually do both, but I like to use the Q-tip. So basically all you're doing is getting the dried up paint off the needle. Make sure you get the needle tip. I use my fingernails for this part. Get that needle tip nice and clean. That's the most important part. Flip the needle around and do the back end, because believe it or not, paint does get all the way up there. Not much, but it does. So that needle's clean now. I set that off to the side carefully. Don't drop it. Don't want to bend it. Then I take all the nozzle parts and dip the Q-tip in there and clean those out. Not much paint stays in these, for me anyway. So quick thing. And I do it again when I put the brush together anyway. So that's done. Get another Q-tip. You want to clean out your cup now. Yes, I still have my compressor on. Some of my pearl paints dry up and it's hard to get off. So I go in there with my fingernail. You don't want to use anything sharp and hard, or you're gonna scrape your inside of your cup up. You don't want to do that because then that creates scratches for paint to hide in. So I just use my fingernail. So after I got my cup clean, grab my little pipe cleaners. I dip those in the cleaning solution. My trigger just came out. That's fine. And I go in the front. Now, depending on your airbrush and all that, I'm sure the diameters are different depending on what size you have. I have I think the Eclipse HPCS is a 0.3, so then the outer part up here is a little bit bigger, so I switch over to the next size up and barely clean that. You know, not going too deep. You don't want to force anything, by the way. If this doesn't fit in there, don't force it in there because you're going to ruin something. Find the next size down that does fit in there. Okay, so that part's clean. I'm just going to take some more solution and just go through. Now this usually takes me about 5 minutes because obviously I'm not explaining every little thing that I do. So it doesn't take as long as it's taken in this video, just so you guys know. Good 5 minutes and you should be good. What you don't want to do is leave your brush overnight. Clean it every time. Get back in there. There we go. Sorry. Alright, so the barrel. What I have is I have old needles. I have a lot of airbrushes. Not a lot, I have about 7. So I pick up the barrel with the old needle. It's an old bent needle, so it doesn't matter. And what I do is I gently, on the inside of the barrel, I clean out the nozzle. Now you don't want to push anything too hard into that nozzle because you'll do what's called an umbrella and you'll push out the nozzle tip and it'll bow out. And obviously that's no good because the surface of the needle and the barrel no longer meet and paint will flow freely through those cracks. So just be careful doing that. Now at this point you can use your smaller wrench to take the nozzle tip off, but I don't. I keep it on. This is the second barrel that I've had to buy for this Iwata because the first one I was tightening the very tip back onto the barrel and the thread snapped. I was highly upset because I had to go buy a new one and pretty sure it was about 30 bucks. So anyway, I find the pipe cleaner that fits inside the barrel. Not too big, the right size. Get in there and just lightly play around in there, break everything up. Don't push it too far into the tip of the nozzle. Common sense, guys. This is all common sense stuff. You don't want to break anything. You're just cleaning it. And at this point, make sure that you keep your needles separate. You don't want to put the wrong needle back into the gun. I did that, and my paints were spraying all messed up because I had the bent needle in. I had no clue. I was very upset. Brand new air gun and everything was all messed up. Come to find out I had the wrong needle in it. Got them twisted and confused. So at this point, the cap of cleaning solution has a whole bunch of specks of paint from cleaning everything. I dumped that out. Put that back on the original bottle, which is my water bottle. Okay, so at this point, you're ready to put your airbrush back together. My barrel goes on first, then the outer tip carefully goes on. That's what holds the barrel in place, so that's what I do. Now, when putting this on, just snug it. You ain't gotta like use all your power to tighten it. You know, it's just a snug thing. Mine has a rubber O-ring there, so what I do now is take some cleaning solution and or water, and I get it wet on the needle. I slide the needle in, at the same time twisting it. If you feel anything hit, make sure you stop. Don't try to force it in. You'll bend the tip. Then when you get up, you want to just play with it until you get it right where it's supposed to be. And I push some stuff out that needle tip. I don't know if you can see that. Must have been on the back of the brush. Okay, so that's where my needle's supposed to be. So now I tighten down the chuck. So that's good. Everything's where it's supposed to be. Put back on the back of the gun. Again, just finger tighten it down, nothing major. Put back on the protection carefully so you don't bend your needle. The last thing I do is I fill up about the cup about halfway with actual cleaning solution. Put my wrenches back where I got them from. Put all my cleaning tools back where I get them from. I take one more Q-tip. Just clean out the cup even though it's already clean. You know, just going back in there. Double checking everything. Like I said, I go back and I clean the tips when I put it back together anyway. Now, if this wasn't a new paper towel, I'd be getting a new paper towel right now. To spray this cleaning solution onto the paper towel. And you want a clean paper towel because I'll show you why. All I do is I just spray all the solution out. That's it. This time I turn off my air compressor, undo my hose, and on my air compressor I have one of those cheap ones. I didn't have enough money at the time of starting up to buy a decent one, so I make sure that my hose connection is up off the ground so I don't roll over it with my chair and bend it up. You know, so I keep that right up there. So back to the airbrush. The paper towel that you just sprayed all the cleaning solution. I take that paper towel and I clean the outside of the gun, keep it nice and shiny, mint condition. You know, if you're gonna invest into a nice airbrush, you might as well invest your time into keeping it up to maintenance. There's no reason to invest that money and then let it all go to waste. Making sure I'm getting all the paint off the outside if I was messy, which most of the time I am. And that's it. That's how I break down my airbrush and clean it every night. I kept my box. A whole bunch of splatter marks from painting. So what I do is I keep it right in my box, you know. I just set it in there and keep it off to the side. So that's how I break down and clean my airbrush at the end of the night. Obviously it's different in between colors, but it's pretty much common sense, guys. Just be careful taking out the needle, putting the needle in. You don't want to bend anything. You don't want to make anything protrude or anything like that. You don't want to scratch anything. Use Q-tips. Use only cleaning tools that are made for airbrush. Do not buy those fibered pipe cleaners. They will be your worst nightmare. I found out the hard way. But yeah, also at the end of the night, I usually take off my water trap, my moisture trap, and drain that out. There's nothing in there because I've been running a humidifier, which takes the moisture out of the air itself. So I built a workstation down in my cellar, so there's a lot of moisture down here. Obviously, I'm below ground. But yeah, that's how I do the airbrush at the end of the night. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments section. I'll get to you guys as soon as I can. Like, subscribe, share. You guys know what to do. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching the videos. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and I'll be back with some more tips, tricks, and patterns. Take care, guys.